Hey everybody, and welcome back to Felsbrunn Revisited. Quite a lot has happened since we were last together. In fact, a day and a half has passed, and, well, you can see we've earned quite a bit of money. Now, before I explain what exactly has been going on, this video is brought to you by Shalon Riviera. Thank you for being a farm baron. Well, yesterday, I decided I was just going to work on contracts, try to earn as much money as possible, and we kind of got a late start in the day because it was raining and everything. But we were rather successful, I should say, I guess, with our contracts. We had 3 harvest contracts we were able to satisfy, and you know the best part about those harvest contracts, they paid out anywhere between 5,000, lower 44,000s, $5,000. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 that paid out $6,000, and then we also were able to take advantage of the extra crop, and the extra crop paid out quite handsomely. In fact, we pretty much doubled our earnings. Let's take a look at our finances. So yesterday we made $22,600 in extra harvest income from those contracts, and we made $42,000 in income on those contracts. Now, I've done some fertilized contracts earlier today because it was raining earlier today also. So I wanted to make sure that we were able to harvest once it stopped raining. So we've earned ourselves another $28,000, but we did have to spend $9,600 in fertilizer costs. So we're nearly $160,000. Now today we're gonna have to make a lot of we're gonna have to make a lot of decisions. And the first big decision is we're gonna get rid of our tractor. It's done us well, but we're gonna have to get rid of it because, well, if we're gonna move into horses, like I've been talking about, we're gonna need a way of handling bales, and in order to handle bales, we're gonna need a tractor that has the ability to have front loader arms, and a tractor that has the ability to have a fork. So I've been looking around, and this tractor, the Case Puma, with 270 horsepower, I believe is the highest tractor we can get with respect to horsepower and having a front loader arm. So that's 205. And this one is the one we own. It doesn't have front loader arms. I don't think there's a single tractor up here that has front loader arms. And they're all pretty darn expensive, right? So yeah, I think the Case Puma, is the best option as far as front loader arms. Boom. And horsepower, 270 horsepower. And we can get it with narrows. Although I have to say, I hate these little narrow tires. These little toothpick tires. Oh, they're just awful. So let's go ahead and get our standard tires. There we go. Puma front loader attacher. Buy it. Done, son. So we are at $113,000. Now we're going to need to get ourselves a front loader. And we'll do... all right, now this is where I'm going to bring up some things. Lease versus own. $80 per day if I lease this. I'm going to need to own this. If I own it for 10 days, that's $800. If I own it for 1,000 days, that's, well, I guess 100 days. Yeah, if I own it for 100 days, that's $8,000. 100 days is $8,000. Are we going to play this game for 100 days? No. I'm going to lease it because if I buy it, I'll overpay. I'm not going to play the game for this save game for 100 days. So it's going to be cheaper ultimately just to lease this. Same with respect to my bale fork. My bale spike. We'd have to play this for 100 days before the price is going to be worth it. So we're just going to do that. Now, it is harvest time. We're going to need a trailer. I'm going to get this trailer because I can get it in a flatbed or 12,000 liters. I really don't think I need to spend an extra $500 for the cover. And again, 100 days to make it worthwhile owning. We're just going to lease it. Well, everything's over here. So we're going to own the tractor because the tractor is going to get used and we get eaten alive with leasing costs with respect to the per hour charge. But we're not going to have that problem with respect to our arms or the bale spike or the trailer, because the only time it is actually in use is when it's being used. Pretty straightforward, right? So a very wise person once told me that the way the game basically factors in use hours is if it's moving. So if the trailer is moving, then it's in use. If the trailer's not moving, then it's not in use. So the operation hours don't tick up. So if we basically park this trailer, let's say right here where the silo is in new farmer mode, we park this trailer here and only move it when we are emptying the trailer, then it's going to rack up just a small amount of hours. The same with respect to our front loader forks and front loader arms. If we only use them when we are actively hauling a bale around, then they're not going to rack up much as far as use hours. We'll go many days before we'll even get 1 hour of actual use on them. So we'll just go through the daily lease charges. And again, we'd have to play the save game for 100 days before it would cost us more in daily lease charges than buying it outright. Now, as far as our loading wagon goes, I'm going to go with the Pottinger Euroboss 330. And we're going to, guess what? We're going to lease it. Because again, we're only going to be using this when we are going to be loading straw off of our oat field. First our barley field, and then eventually our oat field as we cycle the oats around. Now we will put more hours on this than we will the regular trailer, but still 100 game days. Even if we played 50 game days, I bet you we wouldn't use that full cost. So let's park that here. And let's go to our harvester. So I still think we're going to go with the Nova 105. Right? 105. Oh, I wonder if like the No, we'll just do this. I was going to say, I wonder if I could be within my rules and use the modded class that came with the premium edition if you pre-ordered it, but we won't mess with that. we'll just do this. We're going to lease this. And we still have $102,000, which is going to be useful. Because we want to keep as high a bank balance as we can right now. Because we're going to obviously want to buy that horse pasture. We got to place it down. And then once we have stuff to feed our horses, we're going to want to buy the horses. So it's going to take a little money. And I want to next go around be able to buy the harvester. So I don't want to have to go through this lease expense to lease the harvester anymore. I want to buy the harvester outright next time we cycle through here. But we've got a trailer now that we can use to haul. We have a forage wagon we can use to collect our straw with, because we're definitely going to collect the straw. That's going to give us more money. We've got our harvester that we're going to use to harvest our barley. And we've got a new tractor that has front loader arms and a bale spike. So we're good to go there. We'll get a water trailer when we actually get the horses, so that we can water the horses, and we're just going to lease that also, because again, it's going to take 100 game days before that is going to be worth, owning, before the lease cost is going to be higher than the owning cost, given the fact, again, that it's only going to be used when we're actively transporting water to and from. I'm going to position the water trailer right at the water trough. So all I have to do is attach to it, unload, and there you go. They've got water. So the trailer isn't actually in use when I do that. So it'd be interesting to know, what are your all's what are your all's general what are your all's general philosophy on lease versus buy? Are you in the I always own my equipment camp, I always buy my equipment? Do you mix and match based on what it is? We bought the fertilized spreader, we bought the seeder, because we're going to use them a lot. The trailer is just going to sit idle most of the time. The forage wagon is going to sit idle most of the time. Same with the front loader arms, bale spike. So why spend the money to own it? Our bank balance would be a lot lower right now if we did go ahead and buy those things. And it would take us longer to be able to afford the placeable. I could put the placeable down today if I wanted to. It's only $50,000 for 8 horses, but we don't have our oats. So I'm not going to buy the placeable until we have our oats. In fact, that's what we're probably going to be doing in the next video, is fertilizing this field and then seeding it with oats. It does look like our weeds did not come back, so that's good. So we might lease a weeder too, and then just try to catch the weeds before they go into their second growth stage. To keep from having to buy a herbicide and a sprayer. Like I said, we also need to keep our bank balance up because I want to buy that land over there to our right. What is that, field 21? I want to buy field 21. Oh, no, sorry, field 19, and that's going to cost us $174,000. So we're going to need 72,000 more dollars to be able to buy that plot of land. And if I could manage to get the harvest contract on that, it's not going to pay me out what I need to buy it, but it will pay out pretty good because beet contracts pay out well. In fact, that's one of the contracts I did yesterday was a beet contract. It wasn't with the Homer, it was with the Ropa. But at any rate, so yeah, see, we can unload into the trailer here without racking up any hours. And in fact, if we look at our garage, so 0 hours, 0.6 hours, 0.5 hours. We have 2 hours on our spreader, 3 hours on our weight. I guess our weight's down at the shop because that was hooked up to our tractor, so we'll go get our weight at some point. And I'm not overly worried about the number of hours on this harvester, given the size of field that we're working with here. We shouldn't get over an hour on that. Now let me see where's the best place to sell our barley. 338 at the train station mill. So let's go ahead and flag that. Y'all knew that, right? You can sort by clicking on the crop. Now, just for fun, back in January of 2020, we did a Pros versus Joe's multiplayer challenge for the entire month of July or January, and one of the terms of play with that interesting multiplayer challenge was that you could only lease your vehicles and equipment. So the only thing you could own was land, and you could own placeables, buildings, but you couldn't own any vehicles or machinery. You had to lease everything. And that was a pretty darn expensive venture, but it did kind of prove that you can lease all of your machinery and still be profitable in FarmSim. It was a very, very fun challenge, a very competitive challenge. Came down to the very last day, almost literally the last hour, and each team was basically battling out, selling stuff off, and one team was ahead, then another team was ahead, and ultimately the whole thing wasn't really resolved. A winner really wasn't easily declared until right toward the end of the overall event. So that was amazing. But yeah, we leased everything, and we racked up a whole lot of machine hours for sure. But we were also able to turn a profit every single day. And yeah, I don't know how many tens of thousands of silage bales each team made in that endeavor. But it was on no man's land, and well, the placeable BGA pays out very well. So obviously that played into the overall financial strategy of both teams. So let's talk a little bit about what else is new, or what else was new in Farm Sim for Farm Sim 19. Since this is a revisited series, kind of a let's look back on Farm Sim 19. We talked about weeds being new in Farm Sim 19 last video. Oats, we talked about oats being a new crop in Farm Sim 19 last video, and we talked about horses being a new thing in the last video. Well, other things, birds, you know, the somewhat annoying birds that we have on the map, those are new with Farm Sim 19. And in fact, I kind of like the birds. I don't mind them. They get a little weird when they're crawling up the inside of a building and kind of doing weird things there, but overall I like them. I like that they bring a little bit of life to the map and everything. I look forward to seeing the wild deer in Farm Sim 22, right? So deer were supposed to, or were originally pitched as being in Farm Sim 19, but they didn't make it. So we're going to see them in FS22, and they looked pretty cool when we saw them kind of jump out at you into the field during the Gamescon gameplay video. So that was super exciting to see. So herbicide is obviously new. We had weeders, I think, are new. I don't think we had weeders in 19, or if we did, they basically fertilized. I think we did have weeders in 19, but they basically fertilized. They didn't actually remove weeds. I remember that being a strategy for some Seasons players, is they would use a weeder and they would basically get a fertilization layer off of that, and that would be kind of free fertilizer, if you will. Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish harvesting this field, and I'll let you know how much barley we've gotten off the field, and we'll go and collect the straw off the field, and we'll report back on our financial situation here in just a wee little bit. All right, so we have our second load of barley here. We've already hauled one load of barley, 12,000 liters down here. Now we have an additional 7,000, so a total of 19,000 liters off of our little field. Not too terrible bad at all. Pretty decent price, $338 per 1,000 liters. So let's go ahead and dump this and see what our grand total of barley harvest is. This is our first field that we have planted. So our first profits. We don't count the field of beets that we got, because it was planted in beets when we started. $2,300. So that brings us to $6,400 in barley harvest income. Now it's time to sell that straw and see what we get off of that. So we're working on our third load of straw at this point. I think we're going to get another full load and maybe a partial load of straw off the field, and then we will be done for the day. 6:36 in the evening. Quite a successful day. So we swapped out our tractor, one with front loader arms. We've leased a front loader and forks. We've leased a trailer and leased a forage wagon. We have gotten our field harvested, gotten our barley sold, and we are well on our way of getting our straw collected and sold. We've got 3 more windrows over there to get, and we're sitting at 78%. So yeah, we're gonna get part of this windrow, or the part of the next windrow, and then we're gonna go sell our straw. Just like so. We still have to return our harvester there. And I think when we come back, we will be flipping this field. We're going to put oats in it. Again, that is the plan. Put oats in the field going forward. That way we will have food for the horses. We'll have straw for the horses. We'll buy our hay. And that's how we're going to run it for a period of time until we kind of buy the next field. And see where we are at that point. But yeah, I think we are pretty darn close to being where we were before we started leasing things. As far as our income goes, we're getting about $883 per load of straw. So not a huge amount of money. I'm fairly confident we would have gotten more if we did bales as opposed to loose material, but you know what, bales are a bit more expensive because you got to have a baler, and then you have to have something to transport the bales with. But maybe that'll come later. Sure, that'll come later. Yeah, $883. Back this up and off we go. So while we are stuck here behind the cement truck, I guess I'm going to go ahead and close out the video. And thank you all for coming out and watching today's video of Felsbrunn Revisited. We are making our way through this start from scratch experience. We're going to try not to take out a loan, just to make it a little bit more exciting and not be, you know, tied to the bank with respect to our finances. It's going to make it a little bit slower going for sure, but I think we're good for it. And until next time, happy farming.